Hey guys, what's up? It is Pieces of Prestige and welcome back to building Parc Miranda. This is episode 8 right now, and as you can see we are starting work on the entrance area for the new coaster, which is still unnamed, and we kind of do need a name for that. So if you have any cool suggestions for a name, preferably not Furious Baco, since, well, that would just be too bad. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave that in the comments. I would love to hear it. And yeah, we'll have a cool name by next episode, so that's going to be awesome. Now right here, what I kind of wanted to do with this area right here is kind of make it elevated. So that means that I have some elevated paths, but I still want them to kind of blend into the rest of the area. And you know, with that, with that said, it sounds very, very weird maybe. Kind of sketchy. It is kind of sketchy. Like, I didn't really know what to do, but I really wanted it to just go up smoothly. And, you know, to be able to just simply walk into the station and access the elevated station, basically. Because, of course, the station is at a pretty high elevation. And I really like that since, you know, it kind of goes into the station right over the path. And it just looks really cool. Now, right here, just doing some, well, trying to do some custom railing work. And, not really sure if I'm happy with the outcome. I might try it later with some more, like, different pieces. And now especially, like, right now when you look at this, and then this is actually before the update, so right now we do have some new items and also some railings, so we might see, like, we might check out some of those stuff in the next episode and try to make this entrance area for this coaster like the best it could ever be, well, with my doing, of course. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And right here, trying to fill up these little gaps right here in the corners, which was pretty difficult. I decided to just go with this. Not sure if it looks great, but yeah, we'll see what we do about that. Maybe I'll switch it up, and you know, if we put some other railings there, we could just fix it that way. But yeah, we'll see about that. Now right here with the station, which is gonna come in a couple of seconds. Maybe right now I'm actually going to do the exit path, which is obviously going to be on the other side of the station building. I kind of wanted this to be filled with arches, so I wanted a wall that is just completely filled with arches, and then just have some nice support structure going down, and have these roofs kind of like not really interlocking, but have them at different angles and also at different heights. And if you look at the station for Furious Baco, you might see that as well. There are some different roofs in there, and you know, it's just my main inspiration for now. I would really like to hear you guys' opinions on this. You know, when the video is over, just let me know what you think about it. Maybe you think it sucks, or that I should do it a little different, and we can fix that. But yeah, just trying to come up with some good combinations right here for the larger arches and also the smaller arches. Sometimes the path just doesn't really align with it, so I had to go with the large ones back there, but I think that's okay. You know, you're gonna be able to see a little bit of the coaster. Well, I'm not totally sure if you'll be able to see much of the coaster, because we might make the start of it kind of dark ride-ish. You know, it's just an idea. I'm not sure about that yet. You know, the whole theming of the coaster is still, you know, still has to come. I don't want to make it like as barren as the normal Furious Baco, the real ride, actually is, because, well, that ride, it's really boring if you look at it like theming wise. Well, the start of it is pretty cool. You know, you have this like little laboratory where like the mad scientist is cooking up some stuff, and then he flies away, and then the coaster just shoots off into the track. But as soon as you leave the launch pad, basically the launch track, you just get into this really boring like track work. That's all there is. It's just track work and maybe a little bit of rocks, but I don't really think so. There's mostly just a little bit of foliage like grass and mostly just sand, and it's really boring, and I really don't want to do that right here. So you know, we'll try to fix that up somehow. Maybe we can make like because it doesn't really like go into the launch section right away. It first goes down, it dips down, goes into a helix, then goes to the first stop, and after that it might go through some cool stuff, and then launch, of course. And after the launch, I still want some theming. But yeah, how should we theme this? Should we do this kind of like a Mediterranean theme for the coaster? Like, I'm not sure how to do that, you know? Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kind of theming I would want there. But I'm sure we can figure something out with a cool name. We can kind of like, you know, make the name coherent with the theming, which I think would be a pretty good idea. So let's not go ahead and jump ahead of ourselves right here. Now, just doing some little detail work on the wall right here. As you can see, I tried to just fill it up and make it look a little bit more detailed. And I really like the way this worked out. Now with some little pieces like these little light brackets, you can actually make some kind of L brackets that hold the wood to the actual base. And I don't know, I'm really happy with how that looks. I'm really satisfied. Yeah, I'm satisfied about my own work. That's a great thing to say, of course. Now right here, just doing some easy copying, which I also said in the last episode, which is a great idea. You know, the non-conforming to grid pieces, you can just copy them with some grid pieces and it's just gonna be awesome. But yeah, let me know what you think about this entire station building. I mean, should I add more detail to it? Maybe I thought about doing some vine work, like doing some vines right at the edges of the walls and maybe just covering the entire wall. It would be pretty cool to do that, like have some plants everywhere, but I'm not really sure, like, is this going to be sort of an abandoned? I'm not sure, you know, it's not gonna be like an abandoned, like, Mediterranean house somewhere. But yeah, that's just some issues, you know, that I have with theming. I'm not sure what to do about that, but we'll see about that next week. It's gonna be awesome, I can tell you that, you know. Without a doubt, it's going to be awesome. We're going to come up with some really cool stuff. Now, what I do want to talk about real quick is the update. I must say, I was not 100% up to date with the update. Well, saying that, you know, I didn't really know when it was going to release because I'm not that much into it. I'm really busy with some work and some other stuff right now. So if I'm slacking in that a little bit, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, the new update is out. And that means that you can now toggle, yes, you can now toggle the collision for rides, paths, and scenery. And it is awesome! I can't tell you anything else than that. It's just amazing. You know, at the end of this video, right now, well, in a minute, I think, we're gonna cut to a new part of the video because this time-lapse is recorded in 2 days separately. And we're actually gonna, you know, do a little bit of a jump cut, but in that, we're actually going to update to the new update. And it's gonna be awesome because, you know, with a wing coaster, you don't have that much freedom in where you place your scenery. Right here, you can actually see like the path and the terrain kind of colliding, but that's all okay. But with the wing coaster, you cannot really make easy scenery around it. And after the update, you know, I made the first little launch tunnel right here out of the station, and it's gonna be awesome. You know, just stay tuned for that. You're gonna love it. Now, right here, I did make some of these trusses. And looking back at it, I thought it looked just like some kind of a really weird factory, and it was all made of wood, so it didn't really make sense. So in the end, I did decide, you know, let's just keep that right there on the side. Let's just not use it that much. And I actually deleted the trusses from the rest of the station, so we don't have to do that anymore. I just, yeah, it was kind of just like a little bit of a brain fart. I was like, you know, what the hell am I doing? And right here you can see I deleted them. And I believe right here is actually where we transition into the update video. So as you can see, that was actually quite a smooth transition. I'm really happy about that. But right here, I'm going to be using these little pieces to create a, well, actually a little bit bigger pieces maybe. I'm not sure. No, I think I'm actually using these to create kind of a little floor around the track. And I think, you know, I'm really happy with the result. Now right here, just doing some tilted floor right here because it's going down, of course. And I really like the way that this kind of, you know, goes right through the supports and just connects to them perfectly. Like there's a little faceplate on the little floor, and then there's just, you know, the bolts sticking through, and it's just all connected, and I feel really happy when I see it. And that's just the way that is. Now right here, like the gizmo, I'm not sure if the 3D gizmo is actually like updated that much, but I must say, like using the world axis and like the relative axis, which might sound completely abracadabra to you, so I will just dip into that a little bit in a second. But I think, you know, like the 3D gizmo right now for placing objects in Planet Coaster, in my opinion, it works perfectly. Now, if you guys have any problem with it, go ahead and let me know. I would really like to hear your guys' opinions on it. But I think it works pretty well, because you can actually, like, alright, so let's just get into it, right? What you have is you have this this way of normally placing items, and you can just like put it over a surface, then hold shift, and you can pull them up or down, and you can place them. But if you really want to place them, like, you know, really accurately, you can press X, and then you get into the 3D gizmo thing that, you know, lets you control the item. Like completely, and in all orientations, so in all the 3 axes and rotation wise and also translation wise. So you can move it around, you can rotate it however you like, and it was just really difficult when you select multiple pieces to actually like have it still be aligned with the pieces. And I'm not sure if it's just the windows that I used here for the floor, or there's something new like fixed with the entire game, but right now it actually did work. And when you like make the station building on the world grid, what then happens is you can actually use, instead of like the relative axis, which is I think the mean axis of all the items selected or something like that, yeah, basically just the mean axis. If you don't want that, you can actually use the world axis, and that lets you do it by world coordinates, which of course then your station building will be built on if you're making blueprints, for example. And then you can just simply use those axes and it will align perfectly to the grid you're building on, so it will be just perfect. And yeah, I just really like that. So, you know, we're already like into the last part of this video. If you're still here, man, you're awesome. I can't believe you stick with me for that long. You know, it's already 11 minutes in. We got a few more minutes to go, which is awesome. I'm trying to make these videos around like 16 minutes long. I think that's right about like the perfect number, because, you know, some people might just want to skip it through and see what I'm building, and some of you might actually listen to what I have to say. So 16 minutes is kind of like, I think, the best of both worlds. Like, it's not too long to feel like it's going to be a drag to click on it, and it also hopefully has enough talk to make it interesting. So yeah, let me know what you think about that, like over the video length. I don't want to make this like an entire like question thing with answers in the comments, of course. Just if you have an opinion on it, like an honest opinion, just let me know. But here is that cool thing that I was talking about. This is the launch tunnel, and as you can see, like the detail in it, I think, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm also very happy with the color scheme of the coaster and the station. I think the red like fits it perfectly. So yeah, you know, of course we might change that up, of course, if we like go with another name. So yeah, we'll just have to see what we do about that. Right here, just extending the roof a little bit, making sort of like a really weird truss structure right here with these little beams. And you know, I'm not really sure how to feel about this part right here, but I must say, of course, you know, this is not something that you will always see. This is only something you can see when you're standing in the queue, and you can only see it for like a couple of meters just walking there. So I don't want to make it too detailed. I'm just gonna keep it like this, and I think that's fine. Yeah, that's good. That's gonna be fine. But yeah, there's also, you know, of course, there are the go-karts now in this game, and I feel like, you know, in the end, I do kind of want to add them. But you know, that's all gonna come when we, of course, extend the park into multiple areas, because I do want to have, you know, every single park that I build, even in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, it has basically got these little areas, right? So right now we're in kind of the Mediterranean area, and if we leave this area, I'm not sure where we're gonna go. You know, it might be like Polynesia, or maybe just some thrill zones, super generic kind of super scary rides and stuff. Yeah, those are just some of my ideas like that are in my head right now. You know, we might do something like that later and maybe transition into it, or we could do kind of like keep up this area of the park and just kind of make the park conform to it and change up a little bit. I do kind of want to do like the worldwide theme, where you have multiple themes from all across the world, and it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, that's this. I think I'm gonna stick with that for now. And right now, just a little update. What we're gonna do with this, right? As you can see, this is far from finished, very far from finished. We're actually going to finish this entrance in the next episode, and yeah, I hope to see you guys there, because it's gonna be a hell of a lot of work, but it's going to be finished next episode. So I'm really psyched about that. Right here, just adding a little bit of a windows, and yeah, doing some minor detail work right here with the little L brackets for the wooden beams. And that basically concludes this episode. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed it, just go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and also hit the little bell icon to make sure you are up to date with new episodes, because every episode, well, basically I upload every single Friday. This video is uploaded a little bit late due to some some time issues, some planning issues, and I'm gonna fix it all later. But normally I just, I upload every single Friday at 12. I think it's 12 p.m. Right? 12 p.m. at noon. Every Friday, CET, so Central European Time, and I hope to see you guys there. So until then, peace from Pieces of Prestige.